crafty friends, it's Maria Robinson, Stamping Simply with Maria. Today I have a fun tutorial. It's called a pop-up Z-fold slimline card. And I can't wait to show you how I made it, but let me show you how I designed it first using my template. So it's a bit of a mess. Don't mind it. I just used scrap paper that I had on hand. So basically it closes like this. So it'll fit into a number 10 envelope, business size envelope, or you could make your own envelopes. And I've tweaked it a little bit, but basically the center part here pops up. So really cool. All right, let's get started. Now I haven't scored this piece yet. So this is one of the new in colors. It's Orchid Oasis, and it's cut at 7 inches by 8.5 inches. And let's score this together. I'm going to make sure that the cutting blade is out of the way. I'm going to position my paper to 1 3/4 inches and then slide the score arm up and down, score blade up and down. And then the next one, we'll move it to 3.5 inches and we'll score again. All right. So we have those 2 score lines there. Then we're going to take that and fold it back. Move that out of the way. We don't need that yet again. And then fold the other one. And you want to take your bone folder and make sure to crease, to burnish the edges really good. All right, so that's it for the fold. So when it goes in the envelope, it will be folded at 3.5 inches wide by 8.5 inches high. Let's just make sure. Yes, 8.5 and then 3.5. Good. All right, so I've already gone ahead and put some pieces together. We have these 2 squares, which will be the diamonds here. One's going to go here, one here. But before we do that, we want to put the designer series paper on this whole thing here. So let me set these square pieces aside before we get ahead. Now I have these pieces that will go on the back. These are optional. I liked the way it looked because they will, when your recipient receives this card, they will also see the back side, because that's where we're going to put the white, the basic white, so that you could write a greeting, you could write a message to your recipient. So these are going to go back here. So let's go ahead and put those down first. And I want to keep these in order, because if you'll notice, these 2 were cut, so I want to keep them going in that same direction. And you'll have a little bit of a border all around. And then with the next piece, you want to line it up so it lines up. You want to put it on so it lines up with this piece here. And these strips, I believe, are 1.5 inches by 8.25 inches. And the designer series paper I am using is a new one in the new annual catalog, which just launched May 3rd. And give me a second, let me put this down, then I'll tell you what it's called. It is Pretty Prints. I'll just quickly go through this. So there's I think 12 sheets, and there's 4 different colors, families. So really neat, you know, and they've got it, it's double-sided. I chose to use the Blackberry Bliss one. All right, and then, oh, you know what I didn't cut? I need to cut from, let's see if I have any scraps in here. I don't have any scraps. I need to cut the basic white that's going to go on the back here. I've already got my fingers all inked up, I see. And this piece measures 3 1/4 by 8 1/4. So 3 1/4 by 8 1/4. And I'm going to leave this out because we're going to be needing that again soon, but I don't need the arm open. So I'm going to just put this on the back for now. We're not done with it yet though. I'll show you what we do with it in a little while. We have a couple more things to do. Again, looking for equal spacing all around as best you can, but definitely lining up with the edges here. All right, so that's the back side. Let me go ahead and we'll put the front side on now. And I'm using, so we used this side, which are actually wisteria, and then we're going to use like the paint splatters on the other side, here and here. Alternately, you can use the same all around if you want. I just thought it looked a little nicer and kind of different to do the back side. And why not use the back side? The papers are so pretty, you know, you want to showcase both sides. And this will have a little bit of weight to it, so I'm pretty sure that I will have to put extra postage on it when I'm mailing it. And also for those Father's Day cards that I posted last week, those will also need extra postage, I'm sure. But I may just hand deliver them because I'll be seeing my family this weekend, although that's kind of early to be giving out Father's Day cards, I think. So I'll probably just hold them. All right, and then we'll put the last piece. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, I did want to show you something. So I don't know if you can see this, if it picks up on the camera, but if you notice, there's a white core. On the designer series paper, it has a white core center, unlike the cardstock where when you cut it, it does not have white core. It's the ink is through and through. On the designer series paper, it's only on the front and the back. So what I like to do just to keep it, just to finish it off, is I'll get a sponge dauber and my ink. I'm using Orchid Oasis. Dab it in my ink pad a little bit. And then just go along the edge here, just so you don't see that white. I think it just finishes off the card. I did most of it. I just wanted to leave two sides so I can show you what I meant. And just finish the other side here. Just run it down. Now I could have done this with my blending brush, but I find that this I could get a little more detailed on the edges with it. Like I said, I already did the other side. All right, so I'll put that aside for a second. We'll need that later when we're doing our stamping. All right, now I can glue this. Again, looking for equal spacing. When you're happy, press down. All right. So we've got one side and we've got the back side. Now for these pieces, what's the measurement for this? I believe this is 2 inches by 1 7/8 inch. Yeah, 2 inches by 1 7/8 inch. So they're gonna go right there. And I like to line up the points with the edge of the designer series paper. So, and then I'm just looking for equal spacing or as best I can right now. And then the center piece is a little bit bigger. This piece is, not sure. Actually, where's my ruler? Oh, I got one right here. Let's see what size this is. This is 2 inches by 2 inches. And these were 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. Okay, so I made this piece, which is the center piece, just a little bit bigger. And I'll show you why once we start putting the rest of the card together. So that will be placed right here. But that's going to be my last piece. I need to do the triangle that goes here first. But I can put these down. So with these, you just want to put the glue on one side here because that's what's gluing here. Otherwise, if you put it on both sides, it's not going to fold. So you want to just be sure to put it on one side here. And my silicone mat is, I don't know, I had it, now I lost it. I found it. All right, again, make sure I've got the right side. Like I said, I want to line the cardstock with the tip of the designer series paper. When I'm happy, I can press down, make sure I didn't get any glue on the other side, and I did not. So perfect. And then we can do the same with this one. This particular pattern is nice because it doesn't have a direction, so I don't have to worry about you know, flowers being upside down because they're kind of all over the place, so it doesn't really matter. But I do have a trick for whether if you're using designer series paper that does have a direction to it. Put that down, make sure I didn't get glue on the other side. No, I did not. All right, perfect. Aren't these colors beautiful? They're so vibrant. All right, so let's set that aside for a minute. Put it on this side. Close the glue. Stick my fingers in it. I seem to have lost a piece here. Oh, no, I didn't. That's I thought I lost the designer series paper that's going on this, but this is where we're going to stamp our image in white on this piece. So we'll do that in a minute. Let me show you. So the mechanism in this card to create the pop-up is basically a piece of scrap cardstock, which measures 1 inch by 4 inches, and then I score it at 1 inch, 2 inch, and 3 inch. So we'll do that right now. So here's my piece, 1 inch by 4 inch, and we're going to score it at 1 inch. Hold that down in place. Move my scoreboard, score plate, score blade, not scoreboard. 1 inch, 2 inches, and 3 inches. set that aside again. So we're going to fold these over, give them a good burnish with our bone folder. And this one here. All right, now we can put this mechanism in the card. So this is going to line up in the center, and it's going to be glued down here and someplace else. Hang on a second, let's get this straight. It's going to be, so one panel will be glued to the back side of the inside of the card, and the other one is going to be glued here. So basically it will create a little pocket, a little square there. See that? All right, let's glue that down. Make sure this is even. When you're scoring these little pieces, sometimes they get off kilter, and that's what this one did. All right, there we go. So a little glue here, not too much. And you want to center this in on the card. So I'm just eyeballing it. Let me bring this piece in. This is the piece that's going to go on here. So I just want to make sure, we're going to cut this down, but I just want to make sure that's going to be in the center, and it will be. All right, good. So I can press this down now. It moved on me. All right, that. Now we'll put glue on this side here. So basically you're putting it on the 1-inch panel and then the 4-inch panel. And we'll close this down. And it's probably a better idea to do this before putting these down, but I did not. So let's close it the other way and press like so. All right, and there you have it. That is the pop-up mechanism there. All right, now we can do the rest of the card. Okay, so then we have this square which measures 3.5 by 3.5. Just make sure 3.5, 3.5. And then we have the layering piece, which is 3.25 by 3.25. I'm going to layer this right on top of here because it's not directional. You know, I don't really care when it's, because this will be like a diamond here, so these, it doesn't really matter. I think I will put it like this though, because the wisteria at least looks like it's kind of hanging down. So let's glue this. And it really doesn't matter which way you put it on the cardstock right now, because you can turn the cardstock the direction that you want it to go. Just make sure you have equal spacing on all sides, like so. All right, let me close this glue up for a minute. We don't need that yet. So like I said, this piece is going to go here, but naturally you need to cut quite a bit off because you want this to be laying flat in here, and you don't want it to extend out of the card. So I'm going to pull this in just so I could see where I need to cut and make sure I have equal spacing top and bottom. When I'm happy with it, I'm going to flip it over, keeping it in place. And if I had a pencil, I don't, so I'm going to use a pen, but we're going to cut this part off anyway and nobody's going to see it. I'm just going to draw a line here, top to bottom, so I know what to cut off. Like so. All right, good. Set that aside. And we're going to cut that part off. And you can always trim it if you need to. Not a problem. But just lay that in your paper trimmer so that the line is in the paper trimmer track. Like so. All right, there we go. Hold that down and cut. Let's see how that looks. If that's still, nope, see that's still pulling out, so I need to cut more than that. Oh, I know why. All right. I see what I did. Because I went to this side and really I need to cut down, probably down to here, I would say. So what I should have done was done the point on the inside here, but that's okay. We'll do this point on the inside and then we'll draw another line up and down just to make sure, and get the pen out again and do another line here. All right. I think I'm going to come in a little bit just because I think that's too much taken off. But I did want to show you this part though, because this is probably the hardest part of this card. The rest of it's really easy. But once you get this, you'll be fine. So we just need to cut a little bit more. So I probably should have just cut where I made the line. So let's just do that, which it looks like it's point to point. So when you're cutting point to point, what I like to do is I like to start in the middle of the cardstock, or, you know, not the edges, because what happens is if you start at the edges, you're going to pull down and you might end up ripping and really not cutting through correctly. So we have our triangle. Still a little bit. Just a little. Is it going to drive me crazy? Probably. All right, one more, last one. I mean, like, I just have to cut a smidge off of this. And I really mean a smidge. All right. Line it up in the center there, press down and cut. And yes, I could use my scissors, but I do not cut straight at all. All right, now that should be good. Perfect. Perfect. All right. I think we're done with the paper trimmer for now. And before I do that, let's move some of this scrap paper aside here. I might use these little pieces for something else. I don't know. All right, so let's do a little stamping. Is this the piece I want? No. Yes, this is a piece I want. Okay. So I've got my stamp set here, which is called Happiness Abounds. It's also new in the catalog. Some very pretty images here. We'll be using this image here, which is this one right here. It's a rose. And then really nice fonts and nice greetings. Very pretty stamp set. I like that one too. And Orchid Oasis is our color of choice. Put that up good. And I've got my Stampin' Pierce mat. I finally got one. I was using a much thinner one that came with the Stamparatus. But you want to use this for some nice cushion. And you know what? Before I do that, let's cut this down, make sure I have the right size. So what did I say this piece was? I think I said this piece is 2 inches by 2 inches. So I want this piece to be 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. Cut that down right now. Okay. Now we can stamp our image. Make sure I'm in the camera. All right, beautiful, isn't it? Isn't it pretty? Look at that rose. Oh my goodness. My goodness. And then I'm going to do something a little, does that ever happen to you? You get little pieces of paper in there? I'm not sure how that got in there. Put that in the garbage. All right, so I'm going to take my sponge dauber again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly go in the center of the flower. And I'm using Starry Sky for this. I'm going to stamp off here so it's not too heavy. And just kind of pounce around, giving the rose a little bit of color, focusing more on the center part because that's always darker. Give it a little color there. Just slight color, like so. Happy with it? Stop doing it. Okay, so let's close that up. Now we could cut this. It also comes with the stamp set. Happiness Abounds also comes with the dies, the Blossoming Happiness dies, but I don't think I'm going to do that. It would be this, would cut out this flower here. Like so, but I'm not going to do that. I think I'm just going to put that right down. I don't know. I've been going back and forth with it. If I was live, I guess I could ask you what you thought I should do, but I'm not, so this one's going to be on me. I think that looks pretty on there. I think we'll go with it. All right, so let's see. Oh, glue. All right. I don't want to get glue on my stamping piercing mat. See that I have some glue stuck on the nib here. Let's try that again. I know what's going to happen. As soon as I press too hard, it's going to come out in a big glob. I know it's full because I can feel it. I don't have a pin in here to poke it out. All right, let's try this again now. There we go. There we go. See, I told you it was going to come out in the blob. Guess there was just some stuck in there. All right, let's put that down like so. And this piece will go right here in the center. So again, I want to put glue just on the one side. Make sure I have that correctly. Okay, we want it to go on the left side here. You know, I bet this glue isn't coming out because it's so humid today. I'm supposed to be getting some storms, and it's getting very dark. So I have a feeling that's why. Put right down the center here. Lining it up with the designer series paper. Like so. All right. Perfect. Then, okay, next I want to stamp a greeting on here. So let me close this glue. And we're going to say happy birthday. Again, I'm going to use Orchid Oasis. Now I'm going to show you a little trick with this. So, actually, before I do that, I'm using the vintage bottle punch, and rather than using a tag, I thought this would be kind of different because it kind of looks like a tag. All you need to do is cut off the neck, right? So let's see if that would work. So I'm going to put this in here. And I'm using Gorgeous Grape, or no, this is Highland Heather. That. And like I said, I'm going to cut off the neck here, because otherwise it would look funny. So, geez, really? What are the chances of that landing right in my ink pad? I don't know, but it just did. Let me tell you. All right, so this greeting here, happy birthday, obviously is not going to fit across here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp half of it happy on top, and then we'll do birthday on the bottom. Let me show you how I do that. So ink the one side, and this stamp is actually perfect for this. There's like a little space between happy and birthday, so you can probably get it pretty good. And then we're going to layer that here in the center, press down like so, and then I want to clean it and then do the same thing with birthday. Again, coming here on the edge, make sure I did get it a little bit. Just wipe that off with my simple chamois. I'm going to just wipe it off a little here. There we go. Got wiped off too much. Right, let's try that again. I'm trying not to get my head in the camera, but I may just have to. I think I got it that time. All right. All right, and then we're going to stamp that below here, like so. There we go. Came out perfect. I'm so happy. Close this up. I think we're done with the ink, so we can close that up. I'm going to put that right over here. Now I'm not using dimensionals on any of this because it's already bulky and I don't want to add bulk. Oh, look at that. I guess I used a piece of scrap paper. That's happy birthday on the other side. But nobody will see that. I want to line this up right to the edge. here as best I can. So, and then this is going to go right there, and you'll see a little bit peeking out, but not too much. Again, you want to make sure that you're just getting glue on the one side. So what I'm going to do here is I will just put glue on this part here. You want to use a strong adhesive. Even if you use the tear and tape, that should work well also, because I'm sure that when your recipient gets this, they're going to be playing with it a lot. So you want to make sure that you have enough so that it's sturdy enough to withstand opening and closing it. Make sure that's in the center before I close it down. Okay, like so. Give it a good press. Press it in here. And then also press on the back. So that is our card. So see, opens, closes. Pretty, right? All right, let me just finish it off. I'm going to put some embellishments on here. Get these off with my scissors since I forgot. I think we'll use a small butterfly on the rose here, like so. Oops, that moved on me. Oh, now where did it go? I don't even know. Oh, there it is. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put that there. You know what? I'm using a big one. I think the big one would look nicer. I think the little one kind of just lost itself on there. So, like so. And then on the inside, I've decided to use the Glossy Dots Assortment, and I'm going to use the Gorgeous Grape. Oh, I wish I had my take your pick tool. So bad with using the scissors to do this. So we'll put one in here. Let's see, maybe if I open it. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I'll just use my fingers. Put one over here. And I'll put a large one down here, maybe. Larger one. Down here. All right, what do you think? All right, so now let me show you a trick. I think I have enough designer series paper in here to show you this trick. So this is the card we just did today. Now I'll show you the card that I did as my sample before going to show you. So this is the card that I did previously as my sample, and if you notice, because the paper is directional, I didn't want my flowers and leaves going sideways. That would look kind of funny. So in order to achieve that, you would take your cardstock here, measured 3.5 by 3.5. Once you cut it, so let me see what size is this? Okay, this is 3.5. So let me cut this down to 3.5 inches. Show and tell, right? Much easier than just explaining. Then you would take your ruler and measure across point to point, 1 point to 1 point, and that's 5 inches. So you want your designer series paper to be at least 5 inches. 5 inches by 5 inches. Now I know that seems a lot, but if you're using directional paper, you want to do that, because I don't have a piece of here that's 5 inches by 5 inches. This is too small. This is only 3 3/4 inches, so that wouldn't work. But basically what you would do is you would put this in your trimmer, right? So let's say you have a 5-inch piece, and what you do is, I think it's 1 3/4 would be half of 1 3/4, or 2 3/4. I think 2 3/4 would be half of 5 inches. I'm so bad with fractions. Where's my ruler? All right, so 5 inches we have here, right? So 2.5 inches. That should have been easy. I don't know why it wasn't. So 2.5 inches is your halfway point. So on your halfway point with your designer series paper, you would put it in your trimmer just like this. So let's pretend this is 5 inches, right? 5 inches by 5 inches. So at 2.5 inches, you would bring it over here. Don't cut it. You want to take a pencil and just mark in the track straight down. Turn it again. Actually, I don't even know if you could see me doing that. So put the paper, the 5 inch by 5 inch paper, in your trimmer at 2.5 inches. We're not cutting it. Make sure I have it at 2.5 inches here. I'm not doing anything either. So at 2.5 inches, you mark down with your pencil all the way down. Turn it. Do the same thing again. Pretend this is 5 inches. So at 2.5 inches here, measure down all the way to the bottom there. Then, actually, you know what? You're going to take that paper. So now you have it marked here and here, right? So take it and point to point with each line in your track. You want to cut off a triangle, right? Do that again. Each point in your track, cut off a triangle. Turn it again. Each point in your track, cut it again, and then you're left with this little piece here, and you're just going to cut that off, right? So that'll do, it'll be that'll get your perfect dimensions, and it will be, this is only if your designer series paper is directional. Otherwise, you don't have to worry about this. Yeah, so, and that's where these little, so you save those little triangles, because then you have this little decorative element on the edges here. Now we could do that as well for this, and I may do that before I send it out. I'm not sure, just to dress it up on each corner there. But that's all I got for you folks. I hope you enjoyed this. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to my channel. If you don't have a Stampin' Up demonstrator, I'd love to earn your business. Please reach out to me, and I can answer any of your questions. If you'd like a catalog, please reach out to me as well. My contact information can be found below in the description. I will also include dimensions for this card in the description. And if you want to sign up for my newsletter, I will definitely share a tutorial with you on this. Do that as well down below. Give me a thumbs up, helps me grow my channel, and remember to become a subscriber. All right, guys, have a great day. Thanks again for watching. Bye.